Guys, this is a very serious episode. Um, we have gone with Salah Podcast for the past 3 to 4 months. Have taken out some good content, but there's some changes that need to happen. And with all seriousness, I have decided to. What am I kidding?
You didn't even believe yourself. I ain't going nowhere.
Thank you guys for coming back to another episode of the Salah Podcast.
You forgot to mention that I'm also a pool champion.
You know we can't cut stuff like this out. You know that? Words of wisdom from the sensei.
Somebody give me a hard drive. My mental capacity is like.
Why are you doing what you're doing? You could be doing something that's seemingly good for the wrong reasons.
Como ministros, ya no buscamos la esencia de Dios del corazón de la persona hacia el corazón de Dios.
El aceite.
No, the wife is still in nursing school. And she is finishing her last semester of nursing school.
Thank the Lord. Oh, Lord.
But with that, there's always sacrifices that we have to take.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I won't be on some podcasts
Yeah.
for you guys.
From here until April, it is a new year. From here to April, we're going to have to get some guests in here and bring my dad, I think, back for a couple more episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be a little bit less of my wife in the next couple months because
I'm so sorry to my fans out there. I'll be back. I just got to finish the semester.
yeah,
So please do not worry. I will be back.
she will be back. But I do want to talk a little bit about the last episode that we just did.
Yeah.
I
All
wasn't
girls.
in it.
All girls. Who run the world? Girls.
Unfortunately, I was not in it, but I get it. Girls need to have their girl talk.
Yeah, we do.
But it felt like you guys were all in good
Yeah.
rhythm, good spirits, colluding with each other,
I think this year we got to focus on getting more seats and more mics because
maximizing the space we got.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We can work on that. But we do
New year,
Yeah.
new goals.
Yes. New year, new goals, but also I think really diving into the purpose of the Salah podcast, which is bringing different voices, different opinions, different points of views.
Different testimonies.
Yeah, different testimonies.
Yeah.
Like I just realized this when I was sitting down there, and you and we're talking to the girls. 2 pastors' kids, and then 2 married in.
Yep.
And I think how that worked out by itself.
Oh, God.
Yeah, yeah.
The only way. And it is 2 different points of views because you got 2 who are born into it
Mm-hmm.
and one of us who wasn't born into it but found her way in there by her husband, and me born in the church but never like pastor's
Yeah.
kid. So it's a different world, that side, compared to pastor's kids,
Yeah.
but still growing up in church all my life.
And that's, I mean, it's like a big pointer because you guys were also talking about like your upcomings and how, when did you guys really decide to come back and
Yeah.
and get serious in the things of God. And one of the things that we were talking with our brothers, Ellie and Devon,
Devon,
which if you guys have not seen the episode, please
yeah, please
go to the videos, go to the episode list, click on that one. That's our first video of the series of building foundations.
Yes.
And it was a really great episode. A really great episode.
They'll be back.
Yeah, they will be back.
They'll be back.
But one of the things that we talked about was, like, what is our center? Coming back to our center, to our core, to what it is to be really centered and focused in what Christ has for us.
Yeah, there was one thing that was mentioned in what we talked about with the girls, is that certain testimonies form who we are.
Yeah.
In our foundation. Obviously, we know that Christ is the firm foundation, right? And not because Maverick City sings it,
Yeah.
but because we've read it in the Bible, and we know that He's he's part of, like, you can say like DNA. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's part of who we are, and he's part of our foundation in growing and in our walk with Christ. But also our testimonies, what we've gone through, have roots in us and make us who we are. So if you've ever questioned why you're going through certain things, just know that God has that purpose.
It was one of the things that we talked about in
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah, our car rides.
Kind of coming to that is the fact that our testimonies, right?
Yeah.
How do I put it into a question? Our past, right? Our past. Does it shape us in a way to identify so that we can have an identity in the future? Or does it shape us to remember who
Yeah.
we don't want to be, who we were at one time,
we wanna
or
be.
who we want to be a better, in a way, better person?
Yeah.
So what do you think? What is our identity of our past? How does it come to affect?
Well, it can either make us or break us. My bad. It can either make us or break us. Our sorry.
Breaking the set here and breaking the set.
I'm just gonna put that there. It's fine.
We can acknowledge it later.
It can either make or break us. We can either let, and I think we've talked about this sometimes.
Yes.
We can either let our past better us or make us worse. And I guess what I mean by that is am I going to let what I've done in my past dictate how I live the rest of my life now in a negative way? Or am I going to use that for good and learn from it and not be that way? You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people who have unfortunately gone through very rough circumstances in their lives, you know. And Naomi Chach here, she talked about, and you can hear it in that episode, like she could have let what she went through in her testimony separate herself more from Christ, but she didn't. She mentioned fear of God, which is, I think, something that's part of who we are, that it's instilled in us. And it's not so much as, oh my God, I'm scared that if I do this, I'm gonna, bad stuff's gonna happen to me. No, it's like a father. Like, you do something wrong and you go to and you know that you did something wrong, and you're like, dang, I know I'm gonna get in trouble because I did something wrong. Your conscience is like, damn, like I failed. Like, I know I did something wrong. That's, in my opinion, I think that's how I've interpreted fear of God. Knowing what you're doing is wrong and still doing it, and not having a conscience to be like, oh man, I feel bad. That conviction is what it is. If you don't have that conviction, then I think that's a scary place to be in, But coming back to that, it can either make you or break you.
Yeah.
And it can either make you feel like you've lost a sense of who you are, or somehow make you find yourself. But I think a lot of Jovenists or people who've grown up in the church have unfortunately lost that identity of themselves.
Yes.
They've lost it because they're too worried about, making sure they're a persona that people want them to be. More in pastors' kids, and I don't want to specifically stay there too, because I want to expand like people in general, but it's the sad reality that some pastors' kids are put in that place, and maybe this is going to reach some pastors' kids, and maybe that's the reason why we're gearing more towards that or whatever, in that sense. But you lose your identity because you're basically living through what you've grown up with, living through your mom, or living through your dad's faith, or your dad's relationship with Christ. You don't have your own relationship with Christ. That way we can be in church years and years and years and years and never know Christ, because we've never taken that opportunity to find out who he really is.
Yeah. And
we've never let the processes that we've gone in through our life really show us who God is in the middle of that,
And to add a little bit more to that, I think as a person who has dealt with the lost identity, because God obviously gives you a calling, gives you a ministry, but even sometimes doing the ministry,
You lose yourself.
you lose yourself because you're doing the ministry. You're not.
You're not serving
You're
Christ.
right. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like there's a saying like business owners, they tend to slave into their jobs, right? Instead of being an actual owner of a company,
Yeah.
they're more slaves to their company.
Mm.
And same thing here. I think when God gives you a calling and He gives you a ministry, you tend to lose yourself and become slave of your ministry
Mm-hmm.
than to actually listen to the calling and let the ministry aspect of it do itself.
Yeah.
Meaning, if I'm called to preach and I'm focusing too much
Mm-hmm.
on preaching and forget about the meaning of a preaching
Mm-hmm.
and the understanding that a preaching comes from you talking about your life experiences and what the word is also teaching you,
Mm-hmm. Through your testimony.
you're going to
too.
lose yourself
Yeah.
into in a sense of, am I speaking the right way? Am I speaking this? Am I saying this? How am I looking? Da 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 da. And then you lose the focus.
Yeah.
So I think when we lose our identity, and this is part of our foundations,
Who
your
we are.
identity
Yeah.
has to be. You have to remember who you truly are,
Yeah.
right? Who God called you to be, who God took you out of to place you where to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when we lose that, I feel like we lose everything
Yeah.
because then we don't know who we are.
Then
We don't
yeah.
know what we want to be.
And then we put
what we're
ourselves
gonna
in
do.
this place where we can't speak to somebody anymore because we're already up here, so no, that's not.
Yeah.
God makes us different, you know? And I think the people who know me know that I'm very different in the sense that I'm just a goofy person,
Yeah.
you know?
Goofy?
Goofy.
Goofy?
I like to dance in my room. I like to just yell out songs at home. There's just the people who know me know that I'm very different and just very, you know. But it makes me who I am. So why would I want to change who I am just because now, she sings and or she leads the worship or she does that. But I'm not gonna change who I am.
Have you heard that saying, never change?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think God makes us different for a reason. You know, He makes everybody different for a reason.
Yeah.
So why would I want to change that? Just to be good with people?
Yeah.
Just so that people can like me?
Yeah.
And I have a problem with that sometimes too. Like I'm a people pleaser.
You are.
You know, I want everybody to be good. I don't want to ever offend anybody. And if I've offended anybody on this podcast, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because that's who I am. I'm just kidding. I'm really sorry. I don't want to offend you.
I'm sorry for absolutely nothing.
Like I'm the type of person who wants to make sure that everybody is pleased, even if it doesn't go good with me. You know what I mean? Even if I'm the one who's screwed over in at the end. You know what I mean?
That's an issue.
It is an issue.
Because
It is an issue.
we've talked about this in the car multiple times. And I think
Yeah.
in the cars where we have our majority of
Maybe
our talks.
yeah.
Maybe we should call it car talks.
No, I'm fine on the couch.
But-
Unless you want me driving, but I don't think you want me
No,
driving.
we do not want you talking and driving, guys.
We would be having a blast like NASCAR.
You go 0 to 80 in 3.5 seconds.
Call me Little Lightning McQueen over here, or Baby Driver.
Baby driver. Baby driver. Yeah.
Mhm,
Shades
Baby
on.
Driver.
Let's go.
Yeah, but they
No.
have to be prescription shades
No.
because I can't see.
No. Let's come back to this.
But prescription.
We're not talking about
Prescription
prescription.
shades. We can turn this around too,
A ver.
but I'm not going to because we're gonna go back on our foundation. Okay, go. Not in the car. Not in the car, unless you want to meet Jesus a little sooner. But I don't think we want to do that.
We do not want to meet. I mean,
Let's not go there. Jesus, we're fine right now. We're doing your work on the ground. Let's wait.
I'll wait till you're calling.
Yeah.
I'll wait till you're calling.
I just want to hear the trumpets, but not anytime soon because I got some plans. There's some stuff I gotta do.
But like, one of the things that we talked about in our anniversary
Yeah.
dinner, that we had was, what are some goals that we can set ourselves?
9 years though.
9 years, have I?
9 years with me.
We're almost 10 years.
How does it feel
How does it feel? That's what I
to be
told
with
you.
all of this?
Oh my God. Guys, always needing prayers. Always needing prayers. Your prayers are well received here.
Yes, they are. Pray for him because I get crazier and crazier every year.
Imagine this with 2 Red Bulls and 3 shots of coffee.
But you know
It's
what?
not the
Caffeine don't do
greatest.
nothing to me. So at this point, I'm starting to think
That is just you.
it's just
It's
me.
probably just you.
It's just me. I'm a caffeinated beverage. If I was a beverage, I'd be a caffeinated beverage. I'd be caffeine. Oh,
No.
wake people up.
No, because
Yeah.
then you make them crash.
No. Yeah. No, I don't want to be that.
Yeah, and let's
Because
not
then they're
do
going to be
that.
like,
Let's not do that. Let's come back to this.
okay, sorry. 9 years.
9 years.
We've been together 9 years. We've been married 9 years.
Together for 12.
Together for 12.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
2 babies
2 babies, 2 beautiful little girls,
and 2 ministries.
2 ministries.
Yeah. We have this ministry and then we have our calling,
Yeah.
you know? But in itself, that
Mm-hmm.
everything has and starts from a foundation.
Yep.
Uh,
Because then we wouldn't be where we are at this moment in our lives if it wasn't for the foundation that we've built separately, in a sense, salvation wise, and then together as a unit, as a couple.
Yeah, couple.
Yeah.
And let's dive into that to the marriage portion of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because one of the things that I tend to see is marriage foundations are not well rooted.
No.
How does somebody go 20 plus years and then decide to call it quits?
Yeah, that's tough.
How many people decide to? What is? I get that there's situations, right, that
Mhm.
may happen
Yeah.
and things, but one of the things that I talked to you about, there was a prophet in the Bible.
Yep.
Who his wife, and this is just the story of it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
His wife cheated on him multiple times and had babies with different people. And this prophet decided to still
Mm-hmm.
forgive her and take her back.
Yeah.
Came to a point where she was gonna get sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went to pay for her, right?
Dang.
So to me, I personally think with that story and with the way I translated it and the way I received it was, there is things that cause human damage,
Yeah.
right? But I think that the grace of God is always sufficient
Mm-hmm.
for you to receive it and to forgive.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes down to marriages failing, I think it's the lack of putting trust in God
Yeah.
And-
And then putting trust in each other.
and putting trust in each other.
Yeah.
Because obviously there is scars,
Yeah.
right? There is battle wounds.
Mm-hmm.
There is trauma,
Yeah.
right? But I don't think that there's nothing big enough where God can't save.
That's true. But what would you tell let's say controversial here.
It is really controversial.
Let's get controversial. Like what would you tell a woman or a man, vice versa? Because it can go both ways.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying, but their spouse isn't trying. They're doing what God is telling them to do. They're trying, they're being faithful to Christ, they're respecting their spouse even if they don't really deserve the respect,
Yeah.
right? For the things maybe. What can you tell them? Like, oh no, stick it out. Or how would you get that way, that they're being treated unfairly? Like we've heard
Yeah.
the testimonies of people.
Ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask me.
I'm gonna answer your question, but I want you to ask you a question.
Yeah, ask
What
me.
is the one thing that you told me that made me react?
Wait, I'm gonna check my storage and the files in my mind.
Oh my.
Just kidding. Trust?
No.
Okay, see, wrong file.
We're trying to get serious here.
I'm trying to find it.
It was once your grandma's out.
Oh yes, I said once your grandma is out
I
of
think
back Mexico, you were out of here.
Everybody is afraid of losing something.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody has that one thing
Yeah.
that if they lose, they will lose their mind.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes people need a reality check,
Yeah.
and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
You can't grow if you don't know what's wrong. When I have a team at work,
Mhm.
and I have the one-on-ones, there's one of the things that I always ask them, and I said, I want your guys' feedback too. Why do I say that? Because I can't fix something that I don't know that there's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Right? There was one thing that I reacted to that. And we can react humanly,
Mhm.
right? And you told me that, and I said, so be it.
All right.
You want to leave? There's the door.
I said, okay. Count your
Right.
days, Alfredo.
But the more it sits in,
Mhm.
and those words stay in your mind,
Yeah.
you tend to react differently when those words are already sitting and marinated in.
Yeah.
Meaning, in the heat of the moment, you may not understand what the words have come out.
Yeah.
But once you've taken a step back and you analyze the words,
Mhm.
those words are going to hit differently.
Yeah, and I think with me in our personal like marriage and stuff, I got to a point where I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing wrong that I can't be like your priority? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What am I doing wrong? I'm trusting God. I'm trying to respect you more
Mm-hmm.
because I love Christ and I love you in that sense. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I feel like I got to the breaking point where I was like, you know what, God, it doesn't matter what the people are going to say at this point because they're not living my life.
Yeah.
They're not going to bed, or maybe they are, I don't know, but they're not dealing with what I have to deal with. And they can say whatever they want to say. People always will have something to say about you, whether you do something good, whether you do something wrong. And I'm learning that. And I got to my breaking point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust you, God. And if you design marriage to be united, you're going to keep it firm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what he designed marriage for, was to unite it, to make something beautiful out of two people, right? But my breaking point was I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything. And I think some people get to that point.
Yeah.
They've tried everything that they can possibly do, to the point where they lose themselves through that. They lose who they are, the value of themselves. They lose that just to try to please the spouse that they have there, right? They lose themselves. They lose, you can say probably faith, because you're like telling God, I don't understand what it is that's happening to me. I don't want this for my family. I don't want this for my girls, you know what I mean? Or kids, you know? And we lose ourselves through it all. But I thank God through that process, because I had always told Christ, I told God, the moment that I started getting serious, I knew you had brought me to Christ again. But I said, God, if he brought me in, this is going to be my husband. If one day he decides that, because we got married pretty young. We were very, very young. We were still kids, for me to think we were still kids. We could have grown out of each other. and said, you know what, we don't want different things anymore. And I think that's what happens too. People don't want the same things anymore, and they're just like growing out of each other, and now there's just no love. And now what? You know what I mean? But I told God, if one day he decides he's not happy with me anymore, which I don't understand why he wouldn't, but you know, if he's not happy with me anymore, I'm gonna still follow you, because I didn't make my pact with Freddie. I made my pact with you, and if I'm with you, I'm gonna be fine. It may be difficult along the way, but I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That was my foundation, my relationship with him, keeping my constant communication with him. And I think people are sick and tired of me hearing it, but prayer is literally everything. It's like my lifeline. Like if I'm going to call 911, that's my 911 right there.
Yeah.
You know, calling him. That was my foundation at the time, my faith in God, to trust that he wants what's best for me, and he wants what was best for you too, you know? And having that foundation, if I didn't have that foundation, where would we be?
Yeah.
You know?
And to come back to that to our story, right? And let's be honest here, right? There's maybe I want to say maybe 2 years, 3 years in our marriage, right? When I told you, I told my wife,
Yeah.
right? And this is why men, you have to understand. If you're going through an identity crisis and you're married, be very wise in how you speak.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was going through an identity crisis,
Mm-hmm.
and I told my wife, I don't love you. I told her, I don't love you.
He told all of this. He didn't love all of
I
it.
didn't love you anymore. Don't know what I'm here. And I gave a very, can I say the BS? Can I say BS? Yeah, I already said it. I gave a
Bull
BS
crap.
excuse.
Bull crap. Watch your profanity.
And I said, it's because you don't clean. It's because you don't cook. And I said, I don't love you no more.
Mm-hmm.
How low of me to even put that in there to try to make an excuse for something that I was going through.
Yeah.
Why do I say this? Because men try to justify all their actions
Okay.
and all their decisions. Men try to blame others for their mistakes and their thoughts.
Yeah.
If somebody's coming and starts talking to you
Mm-hmm.
and painting you a beautiful picture,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. Because sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes the grass is already dead on the other side.
It's
And what
nasty and brown.
you're going to thinking that it is
Mm-hmm.
greener actually is leading you into a path of destruction.
Yeah.
I think, men, if you are serious about marrying somebody or you're already married, marriage is more than a paper.
Yeah. It is.
Marriage is more than a signature.
Yeah.
Marriage is more than I say I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you make a commitment
Yep.
to somebody to be faithful, to somebody to be through the thick, the thin, to cry in the good and the bad,
Mm-hmm.
to be vulnerable in the moments of vulnerability,
Yeah.
and to really know when to elevate so that your spouse can elevate with you,
Mm-hmm.
is the moment that you decided to take that commitment and take it as a responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not only leading yourself, now you're leading a wife and a spouse.
Yeah.
And if you have kids, now you're leading onto a second generation
Yeah.
of what it is to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So my identity crisis led me to say things that I wasn't supposed to say,
Mm-hmm.
that
Or
I
maybe you
wasn't
didn't mean at the
sure
time,
didn't
yeah.
mean at the time, because the next day I felt horrible. What did I do? and the repair of that trauma that I caused my wife, because not only do you have to put into perspective of what you're saying, but now receive it in a way of how does she feel after
Oh,
my
yeah.
words.
Those are tough years.
And you got to understand that a spouse is always going to think of, am I not doing enough? What could have I done better?
I still don't think I do enough sometimes. To be honest.
And this is after multiple years of words of affirmation, showing gratitude, you know, being
Love languages.
showing empathy and understanding every situation. And this is why I've understand, since you've been in nursing school, what it really is to support a spouse and they're in that decision that they're doing. So why do I say this? Because if we're not rooted in Christ,
Yeah.
all these things come to affect
Yep.
your mental state, your emotional state,
Yeah.
and your physical state,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So
If we're not rooted, like if I wasn't rooted in Christ during our years of I guess you can say our process as a married couple, I would have let that destroy who I am.
yep.
I would have let that get to the point where, all right, you wanna play that game? Well, I can play it too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I could have took it there, but I think the fear of God that I had
Mm-hmm.
to know that, okay, I didn't deserve those words, but I love myself enough to know that he didn't know what he was saying. But I could have let it affect me.
You could have.
I could have, but I made a decision to let what the it's like a, I guess you could say like a plant, right? We're starting to plant, you know? You grab a plant, you water it,
Fertilize
you
it.
fertilize it, you get it ready for what's gonna come of that plant. You know what I mean? And if I didn't have that plant rooted in something, even if it was at that point my prayer life or seeking God or being connected with Him in spirit and in truth and stuff like that, I don't think I would have took that so greatly.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I even tell you sometimes I don't even think we'd be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would just be like, no, I don't deserve this. Bye. You know? But I honored,
gone.
I honored the pact that I made, not just with you, but with God, you know? And I honored you as my spouse, you know? And I let God take control of it, even though it took a while.
And that's the thing that when you make a commitment, when you say an I do, and you sign your signature on a dotted line, there's words that come out at the end.
Yeah.
It says, "Till death do us apart."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, even if you die before me, I'm not going to allow.
Oh, you're still gonna come back?
Yeah. I have representatives all around. I have friends. They're going to be watching you.
You think?
Vice versa.
Oh my God.
I'll find out somehow.
I said,
I'll make a plan.
when I'm gone, I'll be like, "Thank you, Lord."
Ah, yeah. Ahí te quiero mirar.
¿Cómo me vas a ver? I won't be there.
I got eyes everywhere.
Oh Lord, guys, this is something that I think a lot of people need.
Yeah. I don't know why we geared towards marriage, but I
yeah,
think
it was good.
whoever needs to hear it,
Yeah,
this was for you, whoever's watching.
yeah.
It wasn't what we were planning to go towards.
It wasn't.
But the Holy Spirit leads wherever it
not in my
needs to be
notes
heard.
either.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think being rooted is important.
Mm-hmm.
Being rooted is important because if we're not.
You know, the Bible gives the analogy of the palm tree.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
The palm tree
Were you in my mind?
probably was, you know, can I say, guys?
Let's keep it PG. Keep it PG.
We're married, guys. Leave us alone.
It's allowed. It's not a sin.
A palm tree
Yeah.
is rooted first down below
Mm-hmm.
before it grows up.
Yep.
So why through storms and wind you can see a palm tree
Mm-hmm.
move itself, right? And it doesn't break.
Yeah.
It's because it's rooted
Mm-hmm.
first underneath
Mm-hmm.
in here
Mm-hmm.
and then it grows out.
Come on, palm tree.
I also seen a little analogy on an IG reel
Uh-huh.
that was trees that obviously it had snowed and the trees had fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Not fallen, but they had bended.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get them to stand back up, they had to be shaken off.
Oh Lord, you're gonna go there?
And what I'm noticing is that sometimes we have to be shaken.
Oh Lord. Somebody's getting shaken up.
You know,
Somebody's gonna get
shaken
shaken up.
in order for us to stand back up.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be shaken? Guys, if you guys want to be shaken, just ask God to shake you.
Ooh. If you're ready for it.
But I guarantee you it ain't going to be fun and
No,
it ain't going to be pretty.
pretty.
Number 2, you can be shaken at any time. Why? Because a firm foundation isn't tested when there's no storms.
Right. How are we gonna test it? How are we gonna test a hypothesis?
Oh my God.
Look at me.
Oh, you're trying to get
So
serious with it.
studious.
I'm trying to get serious with
Okay, sorry.
with our viewers. I know
It's because
you're
you're gonna miss me when I'm not here. Okay,
I
sorry.
think we're going to flourish.
Okay, sorry. Shake it, shake it, shake
You
it,
know?
baby. Shake it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll
Making me
behave.
blush over here.
Oh, 9 years.
Oh my God.
Okay, shake.
Can't even finish a sentence.
You saying shake, and I'm thinking shake what your mama gave you. Okay, sorry.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Yeah. Hey. Okay,
Okay,
coming back to this.
I'm ready. Sorry.
You know, guys, if you
I
this is
told you
why
I'm
a
different.
well rested 8 hours of sleep is necessary on a daily basis. Why do I say this? Because the wife decided to stay up and watch a movie.
Okay, but listen, the reason why is because I just finished my second to last semester of nursing school. Okay, and my brain is fried, like pasado el pollo. Like just you open up the oven, and that chicken is just polvo. Just
I've
Like-
never seen it happen.
you might
Please
hate that. I'm
excuse
sorry. I didn't mean
her.
to blow in the microphone.
Excuse her analogies, bro.
Well, yeah, because my brain is just like done for.
I've never seen chicken turn into dust.
Well, because you never, you never cooked it hard long enough. I'm not gonna tell you if I did that or not. but I
Oh
might.
my God.
Cooked the chicken to the point where even the bone is just.
Disintegrated? Yeah. Would you cremate the bone or what?
Yeah, that's how my brain is at the moment.
Oh my
So I need to.
God.
Anyway, I'm just sleep deprived first of all.
You are.
And anyway, and I'm trying to recuperate the time I have lost throughout the semester in the short span of like 2.5 weeks before I start my last semester of nursing school.
All right, guys.
So anyway, the trees are being shaken here. the trees.
You're being shaken.
The trees we do for the trees. Let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up and die.
Oh, hair.
See, I knew you would get it.
Okay, guys.
Okay, sorry.
After we quoted different movies.
Are you gonna miss me?
I am. It's going to be a different, same message, but just different scenarios. Sceneries, you can say.
Yeah, sorry.
We're going to do some upgrades to the studio.
But anyway, you were talking about trees being shaken.
Yeah. I was trying to, but I couldn't finish my sentence. You know? Now I don't know how to come back to it. I think this episode kind of went everywhere.
No, but we're getting to the point of sometimes God has to shake us.
Shake you to
Shake.
react.
Yeah, in order for us to react. And that's
Yep.
exactly what you said. You had to be shaken in a way that if you wouldn't have gone through what you've gone through, you wouldn't have reacted.
Nope.
You know? And I think that goes for a lot of people. Like they probably had to have been shaken in something drastically in their life for them to react.
Yep.
Because if not, and it's sad sometimes that it has to get to that, but it's necessary sometimes.
Very well necessary.
And it's necessary.
Because you have to dust yourself off.
Yeah.
Shake yourself off. And continue walking forward.
Yeah. So if you want to be any tree, be a palm tree.
Yeah, you can be a palm tree.
Or a sycamore tree.
We're not gonna get into descriptions of trees here, okay? Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of this A Lot podcast.
We speak for the trees. We speak for the trees. Save the earth.
Guys, I shouldn't have gone into that analogy, but I seen it. I was trying to be serious.
You went trees, and I
and
went.
according to my wife,
Dr.
she can't get
Seuss
any
on
sleep.
you. Love you.
But remember, my wife won't be here for the next couple episodes. We're gonna have tons of fun while she's gone,
Oh yeah, loads of fun.
and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.